In the early morning hours of November 13, 2022, in the quiet college town of Moscow, Idaho, 4 young lives were brutally cut short in what would become one of the most chilling murder cases in recent American history. Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Shauna Kernadal, and Ethan Chapin, all University of Idaho students with promising futures, were stabbed to death in their off-campus residence, while 2 other roommates survived, one of whom would later report seeing a masked intruder in the house. What makes this case particularly disturbing isn't just the brutal nature of the killings, but the man now standing trial for these murders. Bryan Kohberger, a criminal justice doctoral student who was studying the very nature of crime just miles away at Washington State University. As his trial approaches in August 2025, new and chilling details continue to emerge about the case that has captivated the nation. The night before the murders, November 12, 2022, began like any typical college weekend. Madison Mogen and Kaylee Goncalves, both 21, spent the evening at a local sports bar in Moscow. Meanwhile, 20-year-old Shauna Kernadal and her boyfriend, 20-year-old Ethan Chapin, attended a party at Chapin's Sigma Chi fraternity house. By 2 a.m. on November 13th, all 4 had returned to the 3-story rental home on King Road where the women lived. What happened next would shock the community to its core. According to investigators, an intruder entered the home and methodically killed all 4 students with a large knife. Recent court documents reveal that the killer may have specifically targeted Madison Mogen first, going directly to a bedroom where a tan leather knife sheath was later found on her bed. Kernadal, who was still awake after ordering food from DoorDash, was attacked next. Chapin appears to have been the last victim, with sources close to the investigation revealing the killer carved his lower legs. At 11:58 a.m. that morning, a 911 call was placed reporting an unconscious person. Police arrived to find a scene of unimaginable horror, 4 young people brutally stabbed to death. 2 other roommates, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk, had somehow survived the attack, with one later revealing she had seen a masked man in the house around 4 a.m. for nearly 7 weeks. The killer remained at large, sending shockwaves of fear through the community. Police initially claimed there was no threat to the public, a statement they quickly walked back as the investigation intensified. The FBI received thousands of tips, but the breakthrough came from an unexpected source: a leather knife sheath left at the crime scene. DNA found on that sheath would eventually lead investigators to Bryan Kohberger, a 28-year-old PhD student in criminal justice at Washington State University, located just 10 miles away in Pullman, Washington. Security footage revealed a car resembling Kohberger's white hue, Elantra circling the victim's house multiple times in the early morning hours of the murders. On December 30, 2022, police arrested Kohberger at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. What they discovered on his phone would add another disturbing layer to the case. Dozens of photos of female students from both universities, including some linked to the murdered women, along with Google searches for University of Idaho murders, information about serial killer Ted Bundy, and Britney Spears' song Criminal. Perhaps most chilling of all, phone data showed that after the murders, Kohberger returned to his apartment and took a mirror selfie, giving a thumbs up. As the August 2025 trial date approaches, the case has taken several dramatic turns. In a surprising move, Kohberger's defense team argued that his autism spectrum disorder should exempt him from the death penalty, claiming it would constitute cruel and unusual punishment under the 8th Amendment. However, in April 2025, a judge ruled that the death penalty remains a possible punishment, stating that autism may be a mitigating factor to be weighed against the aggravating factors in determining if defendants should receive the death penalty. But it is not a death. The judge also ruled that jurors will likely hear the 911 call made by the surviving roommates and see text messages sent around the time of the attack, when one reported seeing a masked man in the house. Kaylee Goncalves' father, Steve, told reporters that evidence suggests his daughter awakened and tried to get out of that situation, saying she was trapped based on the way the bed was set up. Her mother, Christy, was even more direct: "If he did anything like he did to our daughter to the others, then he deserves to die." The Idaho murders case raises disturbing questions about the thin line between studying crime and committing it. How could someone immersed in criminal justice academia allegedly commit such a heinous act? What drives a person to meticulously plan and execute such violence against strangers? And perhaps most chillingly, what might have happened if the DNA evidence had UNT lead investigators to As the trial approaches, the families of Madison, Kaylee, Shauna, and Ethan continue to seek justice for their loved ones, while a community forever changed by violence watches and waits. The case serves as a stark reminder that sometimes the monsters we fear most might be hiding in plain sight even in the hallowed halls of academia.